My name is Christina Nagy, and this episode's going to be a little different. Hello everyone, and welcome to my own video. Today I will not be reading off of a script. Today I will not be reading off of my laptop. Today I will be speaking to you, and you will be speaking back to me in a very delayed fashion down in the comment section below. On my channel, I read scary stories, I read paranormal stories, I read stories that question your sanity, I read stories that question the universe. And today I will not be reading anything. I will be telling you directly my own paranormal experience. So buckle in, grab a cup of tea, and drink with me as I recount my own tale. I really love this cup. It's so cute. I think it was just about a year ago when it had its first interaction with me. It was a summer weekend, and my whole family was home, and I was cleaning up my room. Lots of work to do, spring cleaning and such, and this is just when I started getting into my craft. I started realizing that, hey, witches are a thing, and, like, they exist, and magic is real. And it was just when I was starting to get into candles. Like, I really started getting obsessed with candles. I had tons of candles, and I just had one lit at any given time. And so, at the time, I attributed it to a mix of dust and scented candle in the air, but at any rate, I just boiled it down to something else, and that's really what I decided when I realized that I could not breathe. Something was closing off my throat, and I could not breathe in, and I could not breathe out. Not easily, at least. Looking back on it now, I realize that it very much did feel like hands at my throat, or even just, like, water in my throat. At any rate, it was not a pleasant feeling. Since I was not an experienced witch at the time, and I was the embodiment of a baby witch, I panicked. I ran upstairs out of my room and into the kitchen where, one of my parents, I don't remember which one, was, and, they were naturally just as panicked as I was, because I was not breathing. I was choking on my own air. So this family member of mine, they were like, go outside, stop, get some fresh air, and, that didn't do a whole lot. I kind of just, like, paced around in and out of the house, trying to get some air in my body, and my mother, I do remember that it was my mother went, what are you burning down there? What's doing this? We went back downstairs, and I still could not breathe well, and we saw my candle on the dresser, and I was like, okay, let's blow this out. So with what air I could muster, I blew it out, and I opened up my window, and I aired out the room. It still didn't do a whole lot. I ended up trying to drink some water, and I just choked on it. It really was not a fun time, and, I am definitely feeling emotions recounting it back to you right now. But that was my first encounter. Let's say that it was, maybe in July of 2018. That sounds about right. Well, I moved on with my life. I was like, okay, that was super weird. Hope it doesn't happen again. Spoiler alert, it does. But I moved on and I kept going, and fast forward to Thanksgiving of that year. I was doing the dishes, everyone was home again, and, we were all really full, we were really happy, it was Thanksgiving. You're happy when you eat that much food. And I was doing the dishes, and I was cleaning up, and just a little bit of information. We have 2 dogs, and they are both very small mutts, ankle biters. Standing up on her hind legs, our tallest one can maybe reach my hips with her feet. But the point is, they are not tall dogs. That's why, when I heard a growl right here, right behind my head, as I was cleaning the dishes, I screamed. I did not hold back. That was the most terrified scream I've ever screamed. But I was terrified because that was crazy. I remember that my sister was in the laundry room, my mother was in the living room, and my dad was on the porch grilling food, I think. I'm not as sure about my dad. He could have been in the bathroom. But I'm also positive that I did not just imagine this, because both my mother and my little sister heard it as well, and they were both sufficiently freaked out. That was the second time I ever had an encounter with this being. Now, I was a little bit more aware as a witch. I was like starting to get into my craft. I was understanding that there's a lot of good things and there's a whole lot of bad things, and I just needed to sort those out, and I still hadn't, and I still kind of don't think I have. I don't know. It's a continuous process, and I have not been working on it much. Not lately. So that was the second time that I had ever had an encounter with this entity. And, the third time was another choking thing. Hooray! This time it was just my little sister and I in the house, and my dad had just come home from work, and this was when I realized that it definitely was not a candle or dust or some sort of chemical in the air that made me stop breathing. I keep saying stop breathing, but if I stopped breathing, I'd be dead. But made it so difficult for me to breathe that first time, because the second time it happened, I had nothing burning. The air was absolutely clean. I wasn't cleaning anything either. No dust particles getting kicked up. It was just normal air. It was clean. It was normal. But my dad had just got home, and I, put down my phone on my dresser. I was a little bit more experienced as a witch at this point, and I looked up, and I was like, oh no, I know this feeling. It's happening again. So, in just the calmest way I could, I kept breathing in and out, and in and out. I walked upstairs, I walked outside, and I breathed deep as I could, and out as well as I could, and my dad, walked up to me, and he, put his hand on my back, and he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, it's hard to breathe again. And so there was panicking in that way, and, I think most of the panicking was on Dad's part, because at this point I was an experienced witch enough to be like, okay, something is messing with me. So I just calmed down. I kept breathing, because I knew that whatever it wasn't going to be strong enough to knock me off. That sounded really wrong. It wasn't strong enough to kill me. It wasn't strong enough to do permanent damage, because if it was, then it would have done so already. So I'm standing around, I'm just breathing, I'm getting water, and I'm, getting better. When I come back downstairs, at this point in my life, I do have sage available to me. So I lit up some sage, and I burned it around. So this is a good point to show you how experienced I was with my craft at that point. I was experienced enough to know that something was messing with me. It wasn't going to be able to hurt me too bad. It was just being a jerk. A kind of painful jerk. And on the other hand, I did not know that when you sage a room, you should have a window open so that the bad energies and spirits and all that have a place to go. So basically, I was burning sage, and whatever this was, it was just chasing me around in the room, running away. And now I am smarter. I understand more. If you look back in the past you're always going to be ignorant to yourself, and you always look to the future and you're like, I know that I'm going to be smarter in the future, and I will look back at myself now and just facepalm because I am very aware that I am ignorant at the moment compared to my future self. But anyways, that small rant is over. So I saged the place in a very incorrect way. This entity was just running around, and that was a whole lot of fun. That was the third time that I had an experience with this thing, and I think it was either a week or a month. I have a really bad grasp of time, but much later, I had another experience with this little bundle of joy. Now, I have gotten a new bed since then. It is much bigger, it is much nicer, it is wood, but I used to sleep on a cot on the floor, and do not get me wrong, I was extremely happy with my little cot on the floor. It was very humbling to sleep on a cot on a floor. Like, just a cot bed with a full mattress. It's very nice. I suggest you try it. But now I have a bigger bed with, like, shelves and stuff. It's a trundle bed. It's also very nice. But the point is, I had my bed on the floor. It was very low to the ground. And I had my dresser right over here. I still do. But I keep a lot of things on top of my dresser. And one morning, I woke up, and everything that was on my dresser, which included a good portion of glass, was pushed off of my dresser and onto the floor, all directed towards where my head is when I sleep. But anyways, that happened, and so naturally, I was freaked out. I got super freaked out about it, because something was still malicious and in my house, in my room. And it just pushed all this stuff off, and it wanted to hurt me in the head. I kind of managed to brush it off. I picked everything up, I put it back on my dresser for some reason, I cleaned up, and I burnt more sage, thinking, hey, this will help. It did not, because I did not open my window. Here I am again, making amateur witch mistakes. So that day passed, and I went to sleep, and I thought that was the end of it. Now, I don't remember if it was the next day, or later, or earlier, but it happened again. I woke up, and everything was pushed off towards my head, and this time, there was broken glass. Now, I remember telling my coven about this, and, like, giving them a video message about it. So I will put that in this video if I can find it. It will be recorded this way as opposed to this way, so I apologize for that. I wasn't doing it for quality, I was doing it for information. Hi queens, it's your girl, Mad Witch. Honestly, I'm actually going mad, because this morning I woke up and I saw that all of the stuff that was on my dresser has once again been pushed off, and this time 2 things have been broken, including this green pot and this crystal bowl that I used for burning sage. If you look up on my dresser, you will once again see that all white things are still here. Another thing is that last night, I woke up around 1:30, I was talking to you guys, and, I didn't fall asleep again until around, my Fitbit says 3:15, so it could be around 3:30 that this happened, so that's of interest. So at that point, I reached out more. My dear coven leader, Ira, told me, hey, go tell this person about it, and, I can't remember what their name is, but I'm definitely going to give credit. But, like, I'm gonna put their name on Instagram, like, right here, so that you can go check them out, because they were super helpful. But, like, I wrote out everything, and I told them what was happening, and they said, hey, this sounds, you were talking about the choking, and this sounds a lot like this Japanese demon that, it basically strangles their victims. I don't know a lot about it, but I would definitely like to, like, do my own research and post a video about it, a lot like Loie Lane or Haley Reese. Anyway, back to the topic. But, like, people online were like, do this, and do this, and do this. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this. So what I did not put more stuff on my dresser, I say, looking at my dresser, which now has stuff on it. But I took some salt that I had, and I just sprinkled it over my dresser. And that helped. It did help. And, like, nothing fell off, nothing fell towards my head, which I still think that it was just way too much for it to go straight towards my head. Like, dude, you gotta chill. Well, my dad, the devout Christian that he is, who does not know about my witchcraft and would most definitely have quite the fit if he found out about my craft, he says, okay, I'm going to give you this blessed cross I got from Palm Sunday, and you are going to hang it above your dresser. And I did, because I was scared of the demon, not my dad, although he's kind of scary too. Not in a bad way. He's good. I love you, Dad. Later, like a week or two afterwards, nothing had happened in that time, we got holy water in a bottle. Very nice bottle, and we put it on my dresser, and nothing has fallen off after that. Before all that happened, the second time, I was informed that you're supposed to open up a window when you sage, so I did sage my room again with the window open, and nothing has happened after that. It's all clean. You should definitely go check out my coven leader, Ira. Instagram is @memesforwitches, and I'm going to put that right here. You should definitely go check them out. They are great. And you should definitely check out everyone else in my coven. I will put their things right up here in this corner, in this side. Show them a lot of love and support because they show me so much love and support. And I probably wouldn't have made this channel if it wasn't for them. If I could do one thing over, just one thing, I would talk to the spirit, because I'm calmer now. I know that they were probably just trying to reach out. It might have been malicious, they might have wanted to hurt me, but I think they would have had a reason, and I wish that I had sat down and I had spoken to them, because I didn't know. I was scared, and I had enough, and I kicked them out. That doesn't necessarily mean I want them back. That's not an invitation, but I wish I spoke to them. I wish I didn't act so hastily. I wish I sat down and I went, okay, what's wrong? What's making you act this way? And also, what are you? And what can we do to fix this? What can we do to make it better? I wish I didn't just give them an eviction notice. Anyway, that's all for this video. I hope I didn't miss anything. I'm still not 100% sure what this entity was and why it wanted to hurt me, apparently. So yeah, like it because it really helps me get noticed. Subscribe because I love to hear that you want to keep watching my things. And comment because I want to hear about your scary and paranormal experiences. I want to hear what you think about me, what you think I could do better. And if you do submit your own scary or paranormal experiences in the comment section on my Instagram or on my email, then I would absolutely love to share them on my platform. That's all for this video, but I hope you really enjoyed. Keep it spooky.